It feels good to be back. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in for the Season 11 premiere of Chicago Bears Weekly. We know training camp is right around the corner. The NFL season cannot be closer and closer. So today, in this episode, I'm going to give us 5 things that we should be looking out for the Chicago Bears heading into this 2026 NFL season. Not just training camp, the entire season of its own. But before I get into it, make sure you guys leave this video a like as it continues to help this channel to grow and to beat the algorithm. And make sure you click the subscribe button and notification bell so you're not missing anything on the channel. Without further ado, let's dive into it. The number 5 thing that I want to see from the Bears in year 2 of this Ben Johnson regime is just the impact of Ben Johnson on this football team. Now, we've seen the good, better, best speeches, post-game speeches in the locker room. We've seen how this team has been coached very hard by Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, and his staff. Got a new offensive coordinator in Press Taylor, so we're gonna see how that's gonna work out within the course of this offense. But we've seen honeymoon stages in the NFL before where coaches look so great, the team looks a lot different year 1, but then year 2 and 3 and 4 or whatever, things start to fall, things start to look a little bit different. And as Bears fans, we've seen that with the entire Matt Nagy regime. In 2018, team goes 12-4, wins the NFC North, goes to the playoffs, and not talking about that. We've seen that movie play out within our own Chicago Bears organization over the very recent years. And I want to see, can year 2 continue that success, as in the way he coaches this football team, the way he presses this football team, the championship mentality, the winning mentality, all that. I want to see how that will impact or continue to impact this football team going into year 2. And that is my main thing with this is, can this team be consistently good? Can this team be consistently competitive? Can this team, as the Chicago Bears, continue to develop into year 2 under the Ben Johnson regime? And that is big as far as wanting consistency, wanting some continuity, wanting some accountability from the higher-ups in the head coaching position. Are you able to really continue that success? And are you able to continue the work? And are you able to continue the grind? And are you able to continue the things that got you to the division title last year? Are you able to continue that and able to continue a winning formula that can be something within this Bears team for many years to come? The number 4 thing that I want to see from the Chicago Bears is the pass rush, as the Bears last year were one of the bottom-ranked teams and only having 35 sacks. Montez Sweat did lead the team with 10 sacks. Javon Dester with 6. Can this Bears team get pass rush? And we've seen that is the biggest weakness still going, and it was the biggest weakness going into this offseason. And to me, I still think that is the biggest weakness of the Chicago Bears team going into the 2026 season, and that is getting after the quarterback, which hurt this team a lot, which is being ranked 22nd against the pass, being ranked 27 against the run. How will this front 7 develop? You got guys like Dayo Adambo coming back from injury, a guy who the Bears drafted, Shamar Turner, coming back off of his injury. Can Grady Jarrett perform a lot better than what he did during this past season? And where are you going to get your pass rush from? And another person that I'm looking to have a bigger year, if healthy, is a guy like Austin Booker. Austin Booker, when he was in the lineup for the Chicago Bears last year, he played some really good football, having 4.5 sacks and just 10 games played. So we're looking at this Chicago Bears roster. Are they going to be able to get after the quarterback consistently, which did put a lot of pressure on this secondary, and I will get into that later. Where are you going to get your pass rush from? Is a guy like a Dayo Adambo coming back off of injury going to be enough, along with a guy like an Austin Booker, going to be enough for the Chicago Bears football team to be, I don't know, somewhat of a bit confident that they can get after the quarterback, and it won't be so much pressure on the secondary to hold in coverage as long as they had to last year, because it wasn't really getting after the quarterback. You get a guy like Neville Gallimore in the interior, Shamar Turner, like I mentioned, Kentavious Street, who you signed this offseason. I think the way that the Bears looking at the pass rush, that is they can get better within when we're talking about injuries. We're talking about guys coming back healthy and developing of Austin Booker, Javon Dexter, and can Montez Sweat continue to play some really good football as he has for the Bears in the past couple of seasons. So I'm interested to see, can they improve on the 35 sacks from last year and really start to get after the quarterback for this Bears defense. Number 3 for me will be the development of your pass-catching weapons. You got guys like Odunze, who is going to step into a bigger role now that DJ Moore is now departed. Luther Burden III is going to have a bigger role moving up in the depth chart. You signed Khalif Raymond this offseason. What role will Jade Walker play within the course of this offense? You draft Xavier Thomas this past draft with his speed. How will he be in this offense? The development of Colston Loveland in year 2 under Ben Johnson. Cole Kmet, how will he factor into all of this? Losing DJ Moore, I made a video about it when it happened. I don't think this Bears team will take a step back as much as some people would probably think. He didn't have a great 2025, but when you're talking about guys that the Bears are depending on to continue to develop, along with Caleb, continue to develop in this Ben Johnson offense, how will these pass catchers continue to develop? I think Colston Loveland, in my opinion, is going to elevate himself into a top 5 tight end spot. The way that he can be physical, big size, he has good speed at the tight end position. Odunze, can he live up to that first-round pick draft status? He had a good year last year, then the injuries hurt him late down the stretch. Luther Burden started to come on late as he got more opportunities. Khalif Raymond has a lot of familiarity with Ben Johnson being in Detroit these past few years. How will they use Xavier Thomas's 4.28 speed? Scotty Miller is a guy that they brought in. Cole Kmet, like I mentioned. And they drafted Sam Roush to add more depth to that tight end position. How will these pass catchers develop in elevated roles now that DJ Moore has now departed out of the door? That is something I want to see. The wide receiving production outside of where DJ Moore was to this locker room. Can Odunze become the number 1? Luther Burden can become a number 2. It's a lot of questions surrounding, can this wide receiving group, number 1, stay healthy, and 2, continue to develop. And a guy like a Colston Loveland, who I think is the X factor of this offense, and I think they're going to do a lot through him coming into 2026 because of the way he developed later on down the stretch, and he was used in a lot of different multitude of ways, whether they spreading him out, get him off the line of scrimmage. There was a lot of ways that they used Colston Loveland, and I think that is only going to elevate into year 2 of this Ben Johnson offense. Now, today's video is being brought to you by SeatGeek. Now, SeatGeek is a great place to go for your tickets, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey, concerts, sporting events of all kinds, wrestling, even comedy shows. SeatGeek is your place. SeatGeek will grade your tickets on good deals or bad deals. Red means bad. The green means a good deal. And we also give you guys a hookup where you can save some money on tickets using code APW Sports at checkout to save yourself 10% on your tickets. Thank you for SeatGeek for sponsoring the channel, and let's get back to the video. Number 2 is the turnover on the secondary. Because the Bears lose guys like Nahshon Wright, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, all in free agency. This team led the league in 33 takeaways. Then on top of that, 23 interceptions. You lose a guy like Tremaine Edmonds in free agency as well, you let him go. How is this team going to continue to take away the football? But I do like the additions of adding Coby Bryant from the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. You draft Dylan Thuney in the first round, who I think is a very good value pick. How will this team handle some of the adjustments from the secondary? You add a guy like a Cam Lewis. Terrell Smith comes back healthy after missing last year with the knee injury. How can Kyler Gordon and Jaylon Johnson stay healthy? What role exactly will Tyreek Stevenson play in this defense? I think the secondary turnover and a defensive turnover, when you add also a guy like a Devin Bush at your linebacker position to replace a guy like a Tremaine Edmonds in your defense, can this team continue to take the ball away? Now, 33 takeaways and getting that many takeaways, I'm be honest, I don't think it's something that can really sustain itself from year to year. But with adding more speed, with Dylan Thieneman's speed, with Coby Bryant's speed, to replace Jaquan Brisker, who was solid but was not the best in coverage if we're going to be 100% honest. And you have Kyler Gordon. If he is a healthy game, he is an X factor of this defense, and I've said that for the past 2 years. The way Kyler Gordon can be brought off the edge, and we know what the things that Dennis Allen can do. Can this secondary, number one, not get beat by a lot of speed? Because when you watch this secondary last year, they got beat by teams with a lot of speed, whether we're talking about the Lions and guys like a Jameson Wilson, whether we're talking about some of the plays against Cleveland with Isaiah Bond. This team got beat by a lot of teams that had speedy receivers. So you adding speed with Thieneman and Coby Bryant to your back end. Are you going to be able to hold up? Yes, Kevin Byard led the league in interceptions, but when we're talking about speed and facing some of the speedier teams that you have in this league, whether we're talking about Seattle and the things they could do with Rashid Shaheed and his speed, whether we're talking about Jameson Williams from in our own division, the Detroit Lions. Justin Jefferson is a speedy receiver. You have to have guys that can adjust to the speed if things are able to happen deep. And I think those are the additions with Coby Bryant and a guy like a Dylan Thieneman in the draft, is addressing the speed of the secondary. And can it be one of those secondaries that makes the adjustment and the pass defense gets better when we're talking about coverage and we're talking about guys in those two deep zones and things like that, so you can get, number one, quarterbacks, they have to hold the ball long so the pass rush can get home in the pass rush that I talked about earlier. And then two, we're talking about this secondary. Can they continue to take the ball away, but not at a higher clip like I mentioned, like we seen last year? Can they continue to make those plays and give this Bears offense more chances to score points? And the number one thing that I'm looking for is development of Caleb Williams in year 2 of this Ben Johnson offense. It's already come out that the executives, the coaches, and the scouts have Caleb Williams as a top 10 quarterback. Can Caleb Williams develop? And the main thing that I want to see in his development is, can he make those routine throws routinely? As last year, he finished 32nd out of 33 eligible quarterbacks with a 58.1 completion percentage, only ahead of J.J. McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings. So close to a 4,000-yard season. He threw for 27 TDs, 7 interceptions, which gives him the turnover ratio, or interception ratio of 1.2. He took only 24 sacks after taking 65 sacks, 66 sacks at the rookie in this league. So he does have that escapability in the pocket. He does have a sense of when to get out and when to make plays with his legs. My thing I want to see from him is, can he make some of those short throws routine? Because we've seen at times last year the ball sails on Caleb. Caleb misses his receiver, gets a little too anxious, or he doesn't have the accuracy that we would want to see from him on a consistent basis. It does hurt the completion percentage that he had a bunch of drops last year, and this Bears team is ranked one of the top teams as far as drops goes from their wide receivers. So we would love to see that improve as well. More command of the offense is something that we would love to see. A lot more pre-snap things that was installed from last year to now. A lot more of the post-snap things, of him getting more comfortable. Where will guys be? What plays will be called? And things that will happen post-snap as far as him seeing the defense, which he has done a good job of seeing, but when we talk about the verbiage, we're talking about the toolage. It's a different offseason for Caleb Williams going from year 1 to year 2. He spent year 1 learning the offense, learning things, getting continuity with Ben Johnson. And now that he has a full season under his belt with Ben Johnson, how can they continue continuity? How can they continue to grow and learn each other, as in Ben Johnson learning Caleb and Caleb learning Ben Johnson? Those are some of the things I would love to see. The ability to not rely on so much of those splash plays, and the ability to hit those routine throws routinely. So when crunch time comes or games come down to the fourth quarter, you're kind of not behind the 8 ball, because things take a while to get into rhythm. So if you're able to hit those routine throws routinely, have more continuity in this offense, develop the chemistry that you're going to need to be a successful offense with your guys. We know what the Bears can do and what Ben Johnson do with the zone run scheme and the designing of this running game. But what are you going to do now that DJ Moore is departed? And I said this in the wide receiver development. Continue to develop those chemistries and chemistry things needed with those wide receivers. Continue to develop in this offense. And I think with Ben Johnson is probably going to add a little bit more to this offense to open it up even more. Now that guys are in year 2, guys are starting to get situated. Guys are knowing their roles. What will Caleb be in year 2 of Ben Johnson versus year 1, where you're still learning a lot, where you're still getting used to everything you're getting used to each other. Year 2, how can things get better, and how can this offense as a whole get better in year 2 under Ben Johnson? But that concludes this episode. I will do my yearly prediction. I'll do my Bears yearly predictions later on down the road. But that's all I've got. APW Sports signing out. Thank you for watching. Peace.